Jesus, Harry, pretty good season actually for him. And actually, before the season started, everyone kept saying, well, Man City don't really have a number 9 and are they going to struggle with doing that? They have brought in Haaland now, but they still managed to win the league. And Jesus had a good season.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. I think from the day he arrived in the Premier League, I think it was clear to see that this guy had incredible potential. He hasn't always lived up to it, but I don't think it's been necessarily his fault. I think his lack of game time at times has been a problem. He's struggled to find that rhythm. Pep Guardiola's decision to play with a false 9 at times, as well as obviously seen him sort of moved out at various points to the right-hand side, which I don't think suits him as well, although he's shown himself to be competent enough in that position. But I think he's a great player, and I think that this is a real opportunity for a number of clubs now, including my own, to go out and sign a top-class striker here if they really want it.
Well, I was about to ask you that. Obviously, the heartbreaking, I'm sure, news that Lacazette has gone to that. Are you heartbroken?
I'm not heartbroken because I think it was the right time, and I think that with Alex Lacazette, there was lots of times where we had these kind of false dawns where we thought, oh my God, he's turned the corner. This is the guy that we paid £46.5 million for back in 2017. And then he stagnated again. The levels dropped again. I think we saw that this season. Came in after Aubameyang had his issues and really started to lead by example, brought the best out of some of those young players in and around him, was dropping into the midfield, helping out defensively. He was excellent for a period of time, and then he fell off a cliff again. And we started to see very quickly that, there is a reason why this guy, unfortunately, is not in that elite bracket. So I'm not sad to see him go, but I think that Arsenal do need to go out and strengthen in that position. There's rumours that we're going to keep Eddie Nketiah. If so, that's okay, but he can't be the number 1 for me. So if moving Lacazette on and not giving him a new contract paves the way for a new signing like Gabriel Jesus, I'm all for it.
Yeah, would he be? How high on your list would Jesus be?
He's right at the top for me. He's right at the top because he's got
Why is that?
He's got that Premier League experience. I know people talk about that, and I think that's sometimes something that people throw around too much. But I do think in this case, it's a combination of the Premier League experience, the experience of Mikel Arteta at Manchester City, the relationship they already have. Both know what they'd be getting from one another if this deal was to happen. He gets to stay in what's the best league in the world. I think we can all agree on that. I think that financially, Arsenal are one of the clubs that can make it work for him. Been a lot of talk of him going to Juve and Milan and various clubs like that. Can they flex their financial muscles in the way a Premier League club can this day and age? I don't think so. So I think that this just all fits. I think he would give you that aggression in terms of the pressing. I think he gives you that sophistication in his positional play. I think he offers a threat in behind. I think he can be a poacher. I think he's got so much to offer. So he's definitely right at the top of the list for me.
Yeah, that link-up play as well. We can imagine that working so well with the likes of Odegaard as well. And I just really like him. And it's almost like you say, Man City, when you look at Man City and the way that he's been used within that team, I mean, it's Pep, isn't it? I mean, there's been times when he's played Zinchenko up front. Instead of giving Jesus that chance to be that player, that man always leading the line. And actually it'd be quite exciting, wouldn't it, if he did move to somewhere like Arsenal, to kind of see him given that chance.
Yeah, he's always been the bridesmaid. Now it's his opportunity to come to a club like Arsenal and be the bride. I know we're not where we want to be in terms of being in the Champions League right now, but this is a team that I believe is on the up. I think a lot of people looked at last season and went, although they were saying that it was disappointing Arsenal missed out on the top 4, you could clearly see progress. And I think it's a big club. It's a London club, which to people who come from abroad, that's a big deal. I think there's so much to appeal to him, and I think Arsenal can make it work financially. So for me, it's a no-brainer for everyone involved.
Yeah, bridesmaid joining a team of bridesmaids, that will work really, really well. Just a quick word on Haaland as well, because that is, I mean, it's one of those where as a neutral, and let's be honest, I mean, I'm a Newcastle fan, you're an Arsenal fan, let's be honest, well, Newcastle might never know. Eddie Howe's absolutely magic, but probably not going to be competing with Man City. Haaland for me is one of those transfers I'm just really excited about to watch as a neutral and actually see how he gets on. How do you think he's going to do in the Premier League?
I think he'll do well. I really do. I think that when I looked at Haaland over the last few years, one of the things that stood out to me was his athleticism, his power, his pace, his strength, as well as being a great finisher. And it feels like he's a player that was like made in a lab to play in the Premier League. All the things that you look for in a top Premier League player, Erling Haaland has them. I don't know if I should be worried about his fitness issues, because he has had a lot of them in the last season that's just gone. But from what people tell me, that's not an ongoing thing. So hopefully he can get past that and make his mark on the Premier League.
Yeah, because you look at it as well. He has been doing it in the German league, and you know there's those old arguments that come up, don't they? It's, oh yeah, it's Performance League, stuff like that. I don't really buy into those because of how he has actually just utterly excelled, and also I think something about Haaland that I really admire is just the confidence. It's actually a bit like someone we've just spoken about, Cristiano Ronaldo. That confidence, he knows that he is the best. He knows that he deserves a chance to be playing for Manchester City. Is that the league race over already?
I wouldn't go that far because there's always other factors that come into play that you maybe don't think about and maybe don't take into consideration. But the other point to make on Haaland, just before we sort of wrap up on it, is he's also shown that despite being really confident, and sometimes that's taken as arrogance, he's clearly got his head screwed on, because he could have made the move from Salzburg to a bigger club, if you like, and taken that jump maybe too soon. But the decision to go to Dortmund, I thought, was a really smart one, because you just went up a level to a better league, to a better club, and a club that were competing at that towards the top of that division. And now I think he's ready for that next step, having proven himself there.
Yeah, big season ahead for him and Manchester City, and potentially for Gabriel Jesus as well. Harry wants him at Arsenal. Well, you're listening to the Eye Test on talkSPORT2 with